Alright guys, today we're going to talk about slope, and slope refers to how steep or the steepness of a straight line when it's placed on a coordinate plane. And to start off with the basics, when we have our coordinate plane, we have our ordered pairs. The first number is the x-coordinate, it tells how far to go down the x-axis, either negative number or positive number. And then the second number is the y-coordinate, and it tells you how far to go up or down the y-axis. Now, when we talk about slope, the difference between an ordered pair and our slope is that the y is actually the number that's on top of the fraction, and the x is the number that's on the bottom. So, if I have a slope of 3 over 2, and I'm not given a point yet, I just basically start at the origin, it would mean that I would go up 3 and over 2. And for slope, this has to be a constant. It's always the same. So I would, again, go up 3 and over 2. Or I could also make these numbers both negatives, which would cancel each other out, and it would still be a positive slope. But I could go down 3 and over 2 to get my next point. So 1, 2, 3, over 2. And all of these points should form a straight line when you put them on the coordinate plane. So, for a slope of 3 over 2, it can be positive 3 over positive 2, or negative 3 over negative 2. A couple of things to remember just to check for reasonability of your answers, to make sure that answers are reasonable. If you have a positive slope, the line will go up when reading left to right. So we read a book left to right. So when reading the page this way, any line that tracks this way is going to have a positive slope, and you can think of it as walking up a hill. If you're walking this direction, you're walking to the right, you have to go up the hill. All right? Any line that falls the other way, that would fall this way, would be a negative slope, because as I walk left to right, I have to go down the hill. So that is a negative slope and a positive slope. Always reading from left to right. The way you calculate slope, two ways. You can either start at a fixed point and count up and over until you reach the next point in the line if you're given 2 points. Or you can take the difference between the y-coordinates and the difference between the x-coordinates, and that will also give you your slope. So if I look at these 2 points, I've got 2, 1, and 4, 4. I'm just going to label them just so I can remember. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. So now I'm going to do the formula. I'm going to set this up. y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is 2. If I perform that calculation, I get a slope of 3 over 2. Alright, that's how that is calculated. Now, it doesn't matter which one you pick as x1 and x2 as long as you keep the 1's and the 2's paired together. Okay, so let's just say that I didn't want 0.21 to be x1 and y1. I wanted it to be x2 and y2. And I wanted this to be x1 and y1. You still perform the same calculation. So I've got y2 now, which is 1, and I'm going to subtract y1, which is 4, and I've got x2, which is 2, and I'm going to subtract 4. When I perform that calculation, I get 1 minus 4 is negative 3, 2 minus 4 is negative 2. I still get the same slope because a negative over a negative is a positive, the same as a positive over a positive is a positive. So the slope is exactly the same. So if I want to check this to make sure it's right between these 2 points, I'm going to start at 2, 1, and I'm going to count up 3 spots, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to count over 2 spots, 1, 2, and that's where I end up right there, and it should make a straight line. Obviously, this is not on graph paper. That's what I highly recommend that you use. Don't make up your own graphs because you want to be precise as possible. This is only a slope that is a straight line, or only a line that has a straight line can you calculate the slope, because it is a constant rate of change. That means that for this slope of 3,2, I can count up 3,2. Everywhere I go will fall on this line, as this line will go on forever. If you have something that is a curve or a U-shape, that is a variable rate of change, and there is no slope for that. There's no way to calculate it because there's no pattern. So it can change by going up one and over one at one point, and then be totally the opposite as it crosses the y-axis. So variable rate of change, constant rate of change. This is the calculation for slope. Good luck on this. We will keep working on this in class, but this is your introductory lesson. Which roof would be the most steep or have the steepest slope? Let's just say that we had, in the real world, we were talking about a house, and we wanted to figure out which roof is the steepest. If you were going to climb up on the roof and put up Christmas lights or whatever, and you wanted to figure out which house had the steepest roof, which one would be the most steep? A roof with a slope of 3/1, 5/1, 2, or 3/2? Try this problem out, come back to class with it tomorrow, and see what you get.